Oscar Pistorius, the greatest Paralympic athlete of all time, is going to take this gold medal.
The appeal court of appeals finding, I absolutely respect it, but we're dealing with sentence.
The once proud Olympian broke down at his first court appearance, weeping as a judge announced he would be charged with premeditated murder.
A young boy born without fibulas, facing double amputation before his first birthday. Against all odds, he grows up to become a global sports icon, shattering records and inspiring millions. But on a fateful Valentine's Day in 2013, everything changed. 4 gunshots rang out in the dead of night, and the world would never look at Oscar Pistorius the same way again. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most controversial stories in sports history, the rise and fall of Oscar Pistorius, that shocked the world and left us with more questions than answers. Our story begins in Johannesburg, South Africa, where Oscar Pistorius was born in 1986. He entered the world facing a challenge that would have deterred many. Born without fibula bones in his lower legs, doctors made the difficult decision to amputate both his legs below the knees when he was just 11 months old. But what could have been a story of limitation became one of extraordinary perseverance. Young Oscar, supported by his determined parents, refused to be defined by his disability. By the tender age of 17 months, he was already walking on his first pair of prosthetic legs. Fast forward to 2004, and the world witnessed something remarkable. At the Paralympic Games in Athens, a teenage Pistorius sprinted his way to gold in the 200 meters. The carbon fiber blades that replaced his legs earned him the moniker Blade Runner, a name that would soon be known across the globe. But Pistorius wasn't content with Paralympic success alone. He had his sights set on competing against able-bodied athletes on the world stage. His journey to the Olympics, however, was fraught with controversy. In 2007, the International Association of Athletics Federation banned Pistorius from non-disabled competitions, claiming his prosthetic legs gave him an unfair advantage. But Pistorius fought back, challenging the decision in the Court of Arbitration for Sport. In a landmark ruling, the ban was overturned in 2008. This decision not only allowed Pistorius to compete, but also raised a global question about the nature of disability in sports. Was technology leveling the playing field or creating an unfair advantage? Despite the controversy, Pistorius' star continued to rise. He dominated the 2008 Paralympics in Beijing, claiming 3 gold medals. But his ultimate goal remained: to compete in the Olympics. Pistorius quickly became known as the Blade Runner, his carbon fiber prosthetics carrying him to victory after victory. In 2012, he made history as the first double amputee to compete in the Olympics, running alongside able-bodied athletes. The world watched in awe as this man, part flesh and blood, part cutting-edge technology, redefined what was possible in sports.
Don't start something unless you're going to finish it, and don't do something unless you're going to give it 100%.
But behind the glory and the accolades, a different Oscar Pistorius was emerging. Reports of reckless behavior with firearms began to surface, painting a troubling picture of a man who seemed to be spiraling out of control. Friends described him as having a quick temper and a growing paranoia about his safety in crime-ridden South Africa, a country known for its high rates of violence and home invasions. Then came February 14, 2013, a day that would forever change the course of Oscar Pistorius' life. In the early hours of Valentine's Day, neighbors were awakened by the sound of screams coming from Pistorius' upscale Pretoria home. Moments later, 4 shots pierced the night, shattering the tranquility of the neighborhood. Inside the house, tragedy awaited as Reva Steenkamp, Oscar's girlfriend of 3 months, lay dead in the bathroom. What followed was a media frenzy, and a legal battle that captivated the world. Pistorius claimed he had mistaken Reva for an intruder, firing through the closed bathroom door in a moment of panic and self-defense. However, the prosecution painted a different, more sinister picture, one of a deliberate, cold-blooded killer fueled by jealousy and anger.
Oscar Pistorius, you remember him? The man who used a pair of prosthetic legs to become one of the world's fastest runners. Well, he has spent more than 6 years behind bars after killing his girlfriend.
The trial that unfolded was a spectacle unlike any other. Every detail was meticulously scrutinized, from the angle of the bullet holes to the contents of the text messages exchanged between Oscar and Riva. Forensic experts engaged in heated debates over blood splatter patterns and the position of Riva's lifeless body. The world watched tensely as Pistorius broke down in court, his cries echoing through the courtroom. But amidst the gripping drama and the sensational headlines, crucial questions remained unanswered, leaving many perplexed and searching for the truth. Why didn't Oscar take a moment to check if Riva was safely in bed before opening fire? How could he not have heard her desperate screams for help? And perhaps, most puzzling of all, why would an intruder lock themselves in a tiny bathroom, seemingly inviting their own capture? These unanswered questions continue to haunt the minds of those following the trial, fueling speculation and debate about the true nature of that fateful night. The world waited anxiously for justice to be served, hoping that the truth would finally be revealed and that Riva's memory would be honored. The trial of Oscar Pistorius became a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the fragility of human life and the consequences of unchecked anger and fear. As the trial progressed, a more complex picture of Oscar Pistorius emerged. We saw a man struggling with the pressure of fame, battling anxiety and depression. His defense team argued that his disability left him feeling uniquely vulnerable, especially when not wearing his prosthetic legs. In September 2014, Oscar Pistorius, the South African Paralympic athlete, was found guilty of culpable homicide, a verdict that marked a significant turning point in his legal journey. However, the saga surrounding his case was far from over. In a surprising twist that left many stunned, an appeals court later overturned this initial verdict in December 2015, ultimately finding Pistorius guilty of murder. This unexpected development added another layer of complexity to the already high-profile and controversial case. The final sentence came in 2017. 13 years and 5 months in prison. The Blade Runner's meteoric rise had ended in an equally spectacular fall. But the story doesn't end there. In January 2024, after serving about 9 years, Pistorius was released on parole. His return to society reignited debates about justice, redemption, and the impact of his actions on Riva Steenkamp's family and supporters.
Early this morning, the South African authorities announced he'd now left prison on parole and is at home. He'll live under conditions until his sentence expires in 2029.
Since his release back in January, Pistorius has been hidden away at his uncle's Pretoria mansion, spending his days working out and following a strict alcohol-free diet until allowed out of parole in 2029. As we close this chapter of one of the most shocking stories in sports history, we're left to ponder, what will be the lasting legacy of Oscar Pistorius? Will he be remembered as the Blade Runner who inspired millions, or as a cautionary tale of fame's dark side? Perhaps, in the end, his story will serve as both, a complex narrative that reminds us of the heights humans can reach and the depths to which they can fall. Thank you for joining us. If this story has affected you or raised questions, share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth looks at the most compelling stories in sports history. Until next time, this is Spotlight on Sport, asking you to remember, in the world of sports and beyond, things are rarely as simple as they seem.